Hey guys, it's Tom here from Crypto Life Inc. again, back at you with another video. Today we're going to look at wainchain and their listing on Binance. So exciting news. I actually went to the meetup with them in the Sydney meetup, and we asked them this question, and they said, we don't know when we're going to get listed. Boom, they're going to get listed. Well, the news has come out for the next day anyway. It's not going to be listed until the 23rd of March. 6 a.m. UTC time. So we're going to jump in today and look at that article, and then we're going to give you a quick market update to see where Bitcoin and all the other coins are going at the moment. So tune in, guys. Catch you in there. Alrighty, guys, let's jump right into it. I do apologize for any lag that happens. I'm using a different computer today, so testing it out. So I'll address those in another video. As I said, we're going to look at the news that wainchain is going to be listed on Binance. We're not going to look at wainchain as a project just right yet. I'll leave that for a separate video so it doesn't confuse anyone, and then we can look at wainchain as a project in a bit more detail. But for the purposes of this video, if you had to describe wainchain in one sentence, well, I mean, what they're describing it as anyway is financial infrastructure. But basically what it's doing is it's allowing some cross-chain interactions from blockchain to blockchain, as well as some intra-chain interactions, so their own private blockchain as well. So that is what wainchain is summarized in maybe a couple of sentences. But we're going to look at this news here today. So we had the meetup with the wainchain as well. So that was pretty nice to see. Free beers all around again. I'll mention the video in the meetup in the video where we actually talk about wainchain specifically. But yeah, it was pretty nice to see everyone there. Everyone was pretty, they're pretty happy. There's a few of the guys bought me a few beers. Pretty happy about that. There was some free pizzas there. I do encourage you guys, seriously, if any of you guys are in Sydney or there's any other meetups in your own cities, to go check them out. It's great to put a face to some of the people in the community as well. And it's also, good to ask some people some questions that you might not, have the chance to. So that's just my helpful tip for the day. Okay, I've been staring at this article long enough. May as well look at it, right? So Binance is going to be listed. wainchain is going to be listed on Binance. Binance is going to list itself. It's already done that, guys. Yeah. So fellow Binancians, here we go. Wainchain, WAN, is going to be paired with BNB token, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. This is happening on the 23rd of March at 6 a.m. UTC time. So set your alarm clocks, guys. What they're doing is allowing people to post, to deposit their wainchain tokens already onto their Binance account. There's an important notice. So if you are holding any WAN tokens, I am not. So, I don't really need to be reading this. But just for any of you guys who have wainchain tokens, to just make sure that if you're depositing from their own mainnet blockchain, you'll be fine, but they will not be Binance won't be accepting any ERC20 based tokens. We do not accept WAN tokens that are Yep. So please do not send those to your WAN deposit address, because they will not go through and you'll lose your funds. So yeah, just make sure that you bought them from the mainnet blockchain of wainchain. If they're ERC20 tokens, just keep holding them till on wherever you're holding them, whether it's My Ether Wallet or whatever. And then once wainchain gets fixes up that issue for you guys, and you can have it on Binance, or whether Binance wants to host them or not, that's up to them. But basically, Binance is allowing you guys to chuck in your WAN tokens already, in anticipation for it to be listed on the 23rd of March. That's pretty good news for wainchain, actually. And if you want to read up a bit more, I'll leave this article as a link in the description, so you can check out about wainchain. What are the fees? What are the rules? What are we looking at here, right? So that's the article there. So that is what we needed to cover for wainchain. So what I'm going to do is jump in just to do a quick market reanalysis. So last time we left off, I think it was around last Friday where I did my last analysis. So here it's been pretty much a week, actually. Yeah, it's been exactly a week. So let's see what happened, right? So here we had our yellow line, which has somehow shifted up. So I think I just tightened it out a bit. But it was here before, right? So we got quite close. So it was touching this point here. This is the upward trend, by the way, if you guys are just tuning in. So it was at around 5,900 USD, and we were calling somewhere around this to be great support. So this line was going to be acting as support, and we didn't quite make it. We got to 7,300-ish. It looks a bit lower here, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't actually that low. I think it was like at least 7.2 max. Sorry, minimum price range. My line's a bit off, but yeah, so I push it up because now what we're looking at is, I just want to keep everything closer. So now instead of just being at the bottom of the wicks, I'm just at the bottom of the candlesticks for this particular trend. But if I'm looking for the possibility of how far I could possibly go down, then again I would shift it back down to this line. But right now we are experiencing a bounce, which is the reason why I shifted it up, because I don't think we're just going to go straight back down. There's a possibility, but I'm looking for a daily higher low to form, right? I also adjusted this line, our downtrend. So before I had it a bit on this line here, but seeing as this has, you know, been very strong resistance around this $11,800 mark. Basically now I've got my line touching the top of the candles again, similar to what I did here. They're not touching the wicks anymore, they're touching the tops of the candlesticks, which is also an okay way to do technical analysis. And I do have my 3 points here to make this downtrend fairly consistent. So this is the line that I have adjusted to see if we can break this I'd say new downtrend, but it's just an adjusted downtrend line. It's not. We're definitely still in that downtrend here. We have not broken out of it. We did have this nice bounce, but again, as I mentioned in the last video, I want to see a huge amount of bull volume with follow through. So what I mean by that is exactly what I said in the last video. This huge green volume bar. This is kind of what I want to see when we finally bounce off properly. So here we got a pretty staggered bounce, but we did get some consistent bull volume for at least a couple of days, which is why we had this nice, if I can zoom in, why we had this nice little run for a bit, right? And you know, there was at this period, like some of the altcoins were going crazy, like EOS up 35%, you know, some of the other ones up 30%, 20%, all that kind of stuff. So we had some huge swings back to the upside as Bitcoin went up a bit. And now we are in consolidation period because we've had these, it was almost 4 straight days of green until this one gave us a reversal sign. And then, so now we've got 3 red days at the moment. So this is looking like a consolidation period. And what I'm looking for right now is for us to form a daily higher low. So if we want to be confident that the bulls are actually going to push up, you know, at least to this downtrend, which is, we can adjust a bit further because it's a little bit off. But based on my calculation, somewhere around this $9,600 to $800 mark is where I'd be saying we're going to meet our next resistance, just because of this line here. We also have resistance here as well at 9,800. So that's a fairly good point to be just looking at visually to see where Bitcoin's going to bounce off to. And yeah, so watching closely to see if we do get this higher low. If we break some key levels here, then we will not get a higher low, and we'll probably go back down to being bearish again. So levels that we're watching here, if we had to go for some kind of support levels, here is one that we are pretty much sitting on. So you got 8312, and then here is the one that we also should be watching for at around 8254. Let's just say 8254. So if we break these 2 particular price levels, then it does look like we're going to go down further. We could still set a high low anywhere between this mark as long as it doesn't go down here. But basically, if we want the bulls to remain in, you know, a good position, we want them to hold at this particular area and this particular level, so they could set their daily high low anywhere in this range, as long as they don't push through too much. Then if they push through this part here, then we're in trouble, right? So we want them to stay somewhere around here so they can go upwards to continue this bull momentum, at least for the short-term period, up to this red downtrend line. So that's what I'm looking out for, and that's the play that I'll be looking at. So if we can sufficiently consolidate well here and have a high low for the bottom of this consolidation, then I will be looking to play it up until the $9,800 mark at least, so somewhere around there. But again, we always wait for the price action to confirm what we are thinking. Now, what I wanted to do is, I won't bore you guys with anything else. I'll jump onto CoinMarketCap. So we'll take another brief look at some technical analysis in a second. But basically, what I want to do is just jump onto CoinMarketCap. Let's just chuck a refresh, just in case something changed. So here you can see Bitcoin is actually down around almost 7% today, which is fairly normal. If we look at the chart as we just did, we see that it is currently consolidating from its bull bounce that we saw a couple of days ago, or since I think almost a week ago. And here we can see that some of the top players have been shifting around a bit. Most notable actually is EOS overtaking NEO, guys. That's some pretty nice news for anyone who's holding EOS. I personally do fancy myself some EOS. I also have some NEO, but I have definitely more EOS because it's cheaper and because I like the project. But basically, that's pretty good news for EOS. You can see that they've overtaken them by the market cap, 600 mil, yep. So, you know, that's a significant jump up for EOS. We did get a nicer jump, as I said, for EOS than for NEO when Bitcoin went up. So we had, like, I think it was almost 35% or 30%, somewhere around that mark. Correct me if I'm wrong. But a couple of days ago, that's the jump that we had for EOS. And this is important because I actually scaled in a little bit onto EOS at this mark. I think I bought in at $6.49 a while ago when we were going to that dip, because I was just looking to scale in. And I thought EOS was a great, great bargain at $6.49. Obviously, it went down to $3.50. So, you know, this is why you scale in, guys. But I picked some up at $6.49, and it's interesting because when I picked it up at $6.49, the Bitcoin price correlation was around $10,000. So that was around at least a high $9,000 mark when this was only $6.49. So it's interesting to see that, you know, EOS is looking quite bullish here. Well, it's performing quite well in this bounce back up, because it's gone to $6.54, so it's higher than the price I bought it at already. And Bitcoin is still somewhere around the $8,400 mark. So, you know, that's just EOS breaking some slight correlations there. And you can see that NEO is comparatively weaker, because when I bought my EOS at $6.49, NEO was somewhere around, I think it was around the high 90s. So you can see, you know, it's dropped $30, and that's quite significant, which reflects why EOS is able to take over NEO in the market cap. So quickly, a brief look at NEO and EOS on the charts. We're just going to focus on the daily charts, and we're going to compare them to Bitcoin. So I just want to see how they're shaping up, more or less. So if we just do a brief glance, which is what I like to do, here we go. You can see the difference already in the daily charts. You can see that, you know, EOS. Sorry, I'm just switching between EOS. It's got a much better bounce, and is holding much better than NEO, which is falling back down with Bitcoin, right? So NEO had the bounce up just as Bitcoin did, just as EOS did. You can see EOS had a massive jump. This was, I think, around the $3.50 mark, the lowest. We jumped up all the way back to $6.50, as you can see. We briefly went up a bit, but we're not looking at, you know, US dollars. We're just looking at the price against Bitcoin. So if you're wondering what all these numbers are, these are just Satoshis and how EOS is performing against Bitcoin. It gets a bit confusing. That's why, you know, you always check with the US dollar charts. But just to see the correlations, I want to see what happened exactly. So, you know, we went down from, where were we consolidating from? Okay, well, let me just check the dates real quick. So here is the 10th of March. Okay, so here, around here is like last week. Yeah, it's a bit harder for me to tell, because usually if I'm looking at NEO, I'm looking at the US dollar to NEO mark, and some key prices I remember with the $140 mark and the 110. So 140 was when ONT was announced, and then everyone bought into NEO because they could get the ONT airdrop for free, and then they kind of just sold off their NEO because they already got their free ONT tokens. That's why we went back down to around 110. I'm just trying to figure out on this correlation where it is. It's probably going to be a bit difficult, and I generally, if you're going to do this, what you want to do is be checking the NEO USD chart to figure out the exact dates, and then look at the correlations as well to see how it's correlating between Bitcoin and USD. But basically the point I wanted to make is that NEO is looking a little bit weaker than EOS right now. As you can see, we're not getting a huge amount of pullback in terms of EOS with Bitcoin, but we are getting a bigger pullback between NEO and EOS. So NEO is definitely more bearish right now, but we are quite oversold here for NEO. So I do expect us to have a bounce back soon. I actually haven't drawn any trend lines, so I am not really looking to trade NEO. But if you were to look for a bounce, we have broken this support line, so your next support would be somewhere around here, just to take note. But again, not trading it, so not too interested. For EOS, we've stuck quite well. So the RSI is somewhere between the middle, so we're in a pretty comfortable position for EOS. It doesn't look like it wants to pull back that much further, which is nice. Because I'm in there at 649 and I don't want it to go down any further. I want to go back to $9, right? So that's looking good for EOS. So very bullish for EOS. Good news overall. So that's pretty much the market update today on the 22nd? Yeah. Okay. Well, look, it's already 23rd. So apparently I've missed the day. But either way, 23rd of Friday, signing out on you guys. I'm going to go just chill out for the weekend. If you guys are already in positions, that's great. If you're looking to get into positions today, just wait until the consolidation is over, and then you can, sit comfortably as, we go back up. If the consolidation just continues and we go bearish, then at least, you don't lose any money. This is not financial advice, guys, so always do your own research. This is just for, educational purposes. And this is just basically how I read charts. So, I always advise to learn your own way, because whatever way works for you is whatever way you should be reading the charts. Because people just like to read charts in different ways. And I have my particular style, which is, as you can see, the trend lines and everything like this. But primarily, I just look at price action. So I do very little predictions because it's too hard to predict, and let's be honest, nobody is from the future and you just can't tell. So that's my cap off on the day. Look out for Binance and wainchain to be going off somewhere between the 6 a.m. mark. Generally when coins get listed on Binance, you see this huge surge and then this dump, classic pump and dump. I'm not sure how consistent that is, but I've seen that across a few new coins that are listed on Binance. They have this huge jump and they just have this, crash back down again when everyone who's in their ICO finally can sell these coins to, obviously lock in their profits. So if you are going to get into wainchain, straight away when it gets onto Binance, you either got to get in there really, really early. And if you miss that boat, then I would just suggest holding off for, say, a day or two and just letting the price correct itself a bit before you jump in and get that. That's just my own opinion. Obviously, if you're just happy buying it straight off the bat, go right ahead. No one's going to stop you there, but just do your own research about it. So this is Tom from Crypto Life Inc. signing off again. Enjoy the weekend, guys, and I'll keep you guys updated with my wainchain Sydney meetup video coming soon at you. We do have the free Facebook group, so I'll leave the link in the description, so feel free to join that for some commenting and just giving some feedback, and feel free to like and subscribe as well if you want to keep updated on all this crypto news. Take care, guys. See you later.